HyperCard had a feature called Start Using, which is not encouraging drug use, but actually means, I guess I can do a little demo. Okay, let's make a new stack and call it resources. Open the icon editor in it and, I don't know, give it a box and say, draw a speech balloon with 2 eyes in it, or whatever, and call it Twatch. This is my own trademarked idea for a logo. Okay, and so now this is an icon inside this stack. I can just say in the stack here, select Twatch. Okay, so you see that. Now let's make a new stack and make it, name it game. And now here, create a new button. And let's do this under script control. You can say set icon of me to Twatch. Twatch, of course. Don't know what you just saw. You saw nothing. When I click this, it says can't find icon named Twatch. So there is no icon Twatch in this stack. So, and you know, you don't see it here. I don't know, I can give it like a beanie copter or something. So what do we do? Well, we can use a special feature called Start Using. Start Using Stack Resources. And what that does is it kind of opens that other stack in the background and makes its stuff available. So if I now click the button, it suddenly works, because it just references the other stack and pulls in its icons, for instance. And that also works for scripts. So I can now say, do resource thing, and now I can go into the stack resources, but now I have to put it in the script of the stack. So like several layers in a stack have a script. The stack itself, the current card, the current card's background, so like the master slide or something that provides, like if you do a database, on the background you put all the entry fields and then each card gets separate content for them or something. But so we go into this script and define our own command and say play boing CEG. Alright. So maybe name this one resources so we can tell them apart. And this one game stuff. Alright. So now I close this. And again, if we look in this stack, the script is empty. There is no do resource stuff. But as you heard, since it did start using on that other stack, it actually referenced stuff from that stack. And you can even, you don't have to do that every time in the button. Like I could make this stack say on open stack. So stack is a HyperCard document, by the way. If you haven't guessed already, it's a stack of filing cards, hence HyperCard. So I can say start using stack resources, and then I can remove it from here. Oh, and maybe let's say here on close stack, stop using stack resources, and just to be safe, pass close. So pass just means that if someone else if someone else in the hierarchy wants to react to OpenStack as well, they get a chance to. It's not really worth explaining here because we mainly care about Myst here. Anyway, so now I can go to the home stack, and now if I click here and say icon, you see the Twatch icon is not really in there. The screen size is, by the way, quite big. It's really hard to see the text on the Mac screen, even in theater mode. Oh yeah, I guess I'm running this at 720p. I guess I could fiddle with it a little bit. It's just so convenient to finally have enough screen space. Oh, and I'm not sure. I don't think I can do it in monitors, can I? Oh, I'm even in full HD. Yeah, I'd have to fiddle with the emulator. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll do that in a moment, but yeah, you're right. It's all too small, and I don't really need all that space. Anyway, what I really wanted to say is, so there is a feature in HyperCard that lets you have a game that references another game. It just at this moment here, it was already using the icon when you opened the stack, so that's why the icon wasn't visible for a moment. But as soon as I caused a redraw, it found the icon. So anyway, and my guess is these resource things are all just for them to have separate files. What that lets them do in Myst is, my guess is these files are all based on an empty template. There is actually a file named template here. Woo! My guess is, let's look at it, what it contains. Actually, I didn't notice that one before. Yeah, has no resource fork. Okay, so my guess is, so Myst, when you run it, will actually look much more amazing than anything of the time. Oh, yeah. To run it, let's see if... Yeah, I guess we'll have to do that. Okay, and now? Yeah.
Uh-oh.
That's okay.
realized the moment I fell into the fissure that the book would not be destroyed as I had planned. It continued falling into that starry expanse of which I had only a fleeting glimpse. I've tried to speculate where it might have landed. I must admit, however, such conjecture is futile. Still, questions about whose hands might one day hold my Myst book are unsettling to me. I know my apprehensions might never be allayed, and so I close, realizing that perhaps the ending has not yet been written.
Alright, so this is how Myst originally started. You might have already spotted a little that it's a black border around the graphics, so it's actually smaller even than most screens of the time. It's not even 640 by 480, it's some weird size like 544 by... So the fun thing is, the small screens Apple was selling at the time, black and white, were 512 by 342, color were what was I about to say? Were 512 by 384, the small ones, and then you could get the bigger 13-inch 640 by 480 screen. So the Myst screen size is actually a little bit odd, in that it is smaller than the large color screen, but larger than the small one. So they obviously did not intended to be used on a... You know, that's the thing, it's not 512 by 384. It's larger than that size. And so, anyway, but what you see here is nothing like the program we saw. HyperCard is black and white. HyperCard doesn't have 3D graphics. You know, so how did they achieve this? And a big part is of the answer is, of course, they got Strata, the 3D drawing application, and did all their movies and their static pictures with that program. So of course it can be a little annoying if you need to re-render some of those to have them all in the same file. So... It's funny, I'm actually getting a fully blacked out screen, so let me just... I don't know, I guess the emulator... Oh, maybe because the emulator got resized? Let's see, maybe I can... No, okay, I don't quite know what the emulator is doing, but I guess Myst somehow causes the entire screen to be blacked out. Anyway, so that's how Myst would look. And now if you look inside it, you're kind of locked in. They made their own custom menus and things like that. Okay, and so they rendered all their graphics with Strata Vision, and so of course it makes sense that they would take a template file and just create a workflow to paste all their Strata stuff into, or Strata Studio, I don't know what it was called at the time, and you know, to generate all these pictures into those files and keep them separate from the code that they need to edit. And that's my guess what they did, so that is why these res files with the res in the name were probably made. Okay, so how do we get something useful out of this? How do we actually look into Myst? Well, with all we know. The screen size, by the way, is quite big. It's really... Oh no, that's the one. Why doesn't it... now it scrolled down. Sorry. Somehow it didn't scroll. Alright, so... what do we do here? Well, I told you that Myst is basically... that Myst is on a CD, but that it's basically all HyperCard stacks and QuickTime files. So the thing that we can do is, of course, we can do, as I hinted, we can go through and just change all those types to what they should be, which in turn will give you will let us open those files with regular HyperCard instead of running them in the standalone. And so that's what I've already prepared. This is why I have a hard disk here named Myst, and that's what's confused the Myst CD, because the Myst CD expects its file types. And so if we change all the types, then of course Myst can't open it anymore. So let's eject the Myst CD and keep our hard disk. And so I did a few things here. First is I used an application I have. Wait, I did this wrong. Keep arranged. That's what I wanted. Okay. Alright, so I think it's on this hard disk. Or here, File Typer. So that's a really useful application, and that can do batch processing of files and change their types and their attributes. So that's what I used, and told it to convert... Wait, do I have the file here? Yeah, here, Myst file converter. So let's actually open that with make autotyper, and here you see, so I have a Myst movies entry. If you do edit examiner, it says it looks for type matches MYQT, so QuickTime movies, and creator matches MYST. And if I say edit changer for that, it says type change to movie and TVOD, which is the creator of QuickTime at the time. I don't even know what that stands for. TV on demand? I have no idea. Video? VODs? I don't know. VODs weren't a thing, I think. Anyway, and I did the same for the stacks, of course. The examiner looks for Myst ages, and the changer changes to stack and wild, which are the creator and type of a HyperCard stack. And once I've done this, I can just drag. So I made a new hard disk that was about the size of the CD, just copied over all the files, and then, dragged the hard disk onto this Myst file converter. No, wait, where are you? So thank you, Daniel Azuma, for creating File Typer and Make Autotyper, because that was a huge time saver. The payment processor Kaji, by the way, went out of business spectacularly a couple years ago. At the time, one of my friends was owed money by them and actually got the domain name with the argument that it's a 4-letter domain name, you might be able to sell it. Which apparently in the meantime he has done. So for a while, that domain name, like, he used to redirect old applications' payment pages to their new pages for himself and and people who asked him. So yeah, things like that happened. Anyway, so yeah, so we now have a hard disk that looks like the Myst CD. So it here has a stack with Space Myst. One of the things here I did is I deleted most of the non-Myst resources to avoid that they would confuse the real HyperCard. And then I made a copy of the Myst stack and named it Home. Why? Well, here's the thing. HyperCard at startup looks for a stack named Home and runs certain scripts in it if they're available. And when you save a standalone, your stack that you saved as a standalone becomes the home stack for this copy of HyperCard. And the home stack is slightly special in that you can use the command go home to return to that stack. So a lot of code says go to space Myst, so I couldn't rename the file, but also HyperCard needs to know there is a home stack and needs to use this home stack and run all its important scripts that Cyan put in there to make it behave like a proper Myst installation. In addition to that, though, Myst and HyperCard, Myst was on a read-only drive, so there is really no fear that these two might differ, that Myst might save state into the space Myst stack that the space home stack, the home stack doesn't have. So that's why I did this. It's safe, and I'm not sure whether Myst actually follows aliases in this case. It will probably, not know that there's a stack named Space Myst. If that's just an alias, I'm not sure, so I didn't want to risk this, and a copy is cheap. So okay, let's double click this home stack.
Uh-oh.
And looks pretty much the same. I can click to kind of jump through here. Now here's something special now. First, you see we're running in HyperCard, but we have the Myst menus. I can say about Myst, and I get their about screen. And I can use the standard HyperCard shortcut that Myst also uses, command space, to show and hide the menu bar. And so now, since I know HyperCard, I know if there is no text field open in HyperCard, I can just start typing, and it goes in a sort of command line. So I will type reset space menu bar and hit return. And now we have a proper menu bar. What just happened? Well, there is this little message window. This is kind of a little command line in HyperCard in which you can run commands. And I basically just typed code into that. If you're wondering why my selection color is this wonk, that's because Myst uses its own color palettes. to save disk space. So they actually, the images look almost like they're full color. Millions of colors is what this was called back then, so I think that's 16-bit at the time. But actually it's just 8-bit indexed palette color. With a special palette for each age. And that way, you know, the files are basically half the size. Alright, you see this stack works. I can pull out the HyperCard tool palette. I can say stack info and look at the script they wrote. Now one fun thing that we might see here, where was it? Command key down here. You see, so on command key down, if which is space, then Myst menu, pass command key down. So it just runs Myst menu, which I think just creates the Myst specific menu bar. Else if command M, then if variant bigger 2.1. So variant is an old external that was in, I think it was part of HyperCard Player or one of the earlier, like it's HyperCard 2.4 doesn't really have variant anymore, but I left it in this stack, which is why it still works. Oh, my mouse is telling me it needs electricity. Of course, that's the keyboard charge cable. Problem is with all the lighting here, I can't really see where the mouse charge cable went. Okay. Let's hope it will last. Wait, didn't? Yeah. Let's hope. So I'm having a little bit of a problem here with regards to mice and keyboards and things, because depending on which way the wind goes, apparently, or something, I don't know, my Bluetooth keyboard just seems to have a bad connection, which of course means it draws battery more quickly. And also, the mouse, the wired mouse I plugged in yesterday, is actually, seems to have a broken cable or something, so sometimes causes trouble. So let's see how far I get. Alright, so variant basically gives you the version number of HyperCard. Now Myst, when saved as a standalone, this version is version 1.01, I believe. We can actually look that up, I guess. Oh. We might not be able to look it up, actually, because I think I deleted it. Yeah, we can't look it up. Because I deleted it from there and I had to eject the Myst CD, of course. I think it's 101. And 2.1 or larger, My version of HyperCard is version 2.4. So I guess what they did is just, hey, there is this external command that gives you the version number of HyperCard. So let's just check that out. And since Myst, will be 1.0-ish, usually you don't have a 2.0 version of a game. You'd release a Myst 2 or Riven, as it was called in that case. So they just went, okay, let's check that. So if we're running in HyperCard is basically what this code says. Then they do reset menu bar, which is what I did, which kind of deletes any customizations to the menu and gives you standard HyperCard menus. And then they say show menu bar and just jump out at this point. Alright, so what that means is, in the future, when I run this in HyperCard, I can use Command Space to get to the standard Myst menus, and I can use Command M to get back to my HyperCard menus. Woo! Useful. So they had that built in already, so that during development they could both test the Myst menus and fiddle around it with it themselves. Now here's one problem. There are buttons here that I could click, but if I use the button tool, I don't see anything. Why is that? Well, the reason is that Myst uses a special external command to do its drawing. It's hypertint is what it's called. So the thing is, HyperCard itself was black and white. So what do you do when you want to show color pictures? Well, what they did was they wrote a native code plugin that just, instead of drawing HyperCard's black and white window contents, drew their colored pictures on top of it. That's also something that HyperCard itself later used, called add color. But in the case of add color, which is, for example, where was the stack? I don't remember where I put my other stack. Ah, here, color test. So that, of course, the color palette is now screwed because Myst changed it. But so what add color did is it drew color in the white areas of the card separately from the actual buttons. So that means I can select a button, I can see this marching outline and things like that, and I can see the color. This merging of one layer containing all the colors and the black and white layer of the card, of course, at the time, on hardware of the time, was rather slow. And so what I can do here now is I can pretend I've just entered the card again, and it will go, oh, right, I have to check if the colors are right, and then it will move it to the right positions for the buttons. So that's what close stack color test. Huh? Stack info? Oh, it's color space test. Yeah. Okay, I guess Myst doesn't Myst does something weird with that one. So let's just restart Myst.
Uh-oh.
Whoops. I think Borderless Gaming just got confused. Let me check. Yeah. Okay, now we're back. Now it looks okay again. So anyway, Command M. And so this means that Myst actually has buttons here. Like if I double click here, you will actually see there is a button marker 2, and it has a script to set the mouse cursor to the grabbing hand cursor, so you know, okay, you can put your hand on there and travel. And it has a mouse up handler that hides the menu bar, hides the cursor, plays the whoosh sound, so we can actually do our own travel now. By message, play, transport. Isn't that awesome? Then fade, go to a card named Black. And then what else does it do here? Yeah. This is a little this is basically a spoiler for the game. So if the winning condition, then go to Myst Island in but I think it's a special version of Myst Island that no, I think it's just Myst Island. If oh no, those are the failure, not to win. So if you picked certain winning conditions, I don't want to really, well, if you pick the failing conditions, then go to special cards in the stack. Otherwise, wait until the whoosh sound has played. And then either, if start game is new, then go to card docked, so that takes us to the Myst dock that we see here. Or otherwise, go to card restart, which I don't quite know what that does. We could probably just go to card restart. Oh, I guess that's in a special stack. Anyway, so you see the buttons are there and they have scripts. And they check global variables which contain all the game state for what's going on here, and where should I go when I click here. And if you now click here and go there, then you see like you have a cursor on the right, on the left to turn, and it's just static images that they're rendering. So those are also just buttons that, for example, say, okay, this one goes forward. There's one to turn right, and that just goes to the card that contains the picture to the right of this. So it's just a bit hard to see. To see a little bit more, what we can do is we can just not make Myst the home stack. And for example, we can just go and open Myst itself using HyperCard, so Myst Island. Now it will, of course, not find some of the commands, but you will see here, okay, there's something on the left, there's something on the right, there's something in the middle. And this button is actually named right, and then just goes to a certain card. But we saw transition effects and everything. How can it just go to one particular card? Wait, was it here? I think it's in the home stack. Yeah. So let's open stack, desktop, Myst. So the space Myst stack. I'll open the home stack just so it's clearer. Yeah, that's fine. Oh no, we closed the other one. Anyway, and if we go into the stack script here, so one detail about the home stack is the start using thing that I showed you earlier. Basically, the home stack automatically gets start using it. So that in turn means that any images, icons, things like that, and the stack script is available to all other stacks. And so that means I can, even when I'm in the Myst stack, I can click Command M to get my menu bar back, because that's in the home stack script. Alright, and where did we have the script that I saw? Drop, update cursor, go here. So what they're doing here is they're overriding the go command that basically every other stack uses. So HyperCard doesn't really have classes. Its object orientation is sort of like prototype-based object orientation with no inheritance. So you have to kind of trick yourself around a little to get something like classes. And what they did was actually very clever. So they take first they use something like eval. So the do command basically lets you build a string and then run it as code. So what they did was it's basically simulating a dictionary, a hash map. They define a global variable with the name of the current stack, so like Myst or Channelwood or Dunny underscore QList. Or it's not even that, it's character 1 to 2. So it's my QList. Here you see it. my QList, me QList, st, which is stone ship, I guess. Selenitic is se QList. So you see, like, basically they run the code here, and check yeah, check stuff there. But basically what they did is yeah, here they get whether the button, so get the short name of the target. That means if you clicked on the button named right, then the short name of the target is right. And then they check if it is right, then VS is their version of a visual transition. It's the script they wrote to do those effects. So they say VS left. So I guess it's a wipe towards left if you turn right. Things like that. Left, up, down. And if it is not none, then they do a dissolve effect. That's what VD in this case means. It's not a venereal disease. Anyway, so what they've basically done is the names of the buttons control what transition effect you see when you click it. And then they just say pass, go. And that's not a Monopoly reference. That just means do whatever HyperCard would normally do for this go command. So, and that kind of means that basically every button's name decides what class of a button it is. Is it a turn right button? Is it a turn left button? Is it a go forward with a dissolve button? Is it a look down or a look up button? And since you just clicked at the top of the screen on a button, invisible button, but still, to look up or something, that's how it works. So that's a very clever approach to get a kind of object orientation into a script.